Did you know that Chiliz, who's also Socius, it's the same company, created an initial partnership with the Patriots back on November 12th, 2021? And if you say no, don't worry about it, because I didn't know that either. And I think this is a big deal. And today's video, we're going to be diving in to the Chiliz token, looking at where it is today, looking at its future potential, giving you the latest news on the token, my price prediction, and really just a deep dive into this token. If you didn't know, my name is Ryan, No Autopilot YouTube channel. My kind of flavor, my specific niche is doing these deep dives on tokens. I have two ways that those tokens come across and get a video made about them. One is through community polls, where we ask the community every single day which token you want us to cover. Whichever gets the most votes gets covered. And then in addition to that, I do have a Patreon. So for $5, you can go to be a Patreon supporter, and you have exclusive power for voting on token review videos. And so this video, where we're reviewing Chiliz, is actually from a Patreon supporter who will remain anonymous. What's up, Tulin Kumar? What's up, old bear? Good to see both of y'all. All right. Let's start here. What is Chiliz? So Chiliz is a currency option for blockchain-backed products and services geared towards mainstream consumers. What they're trying to do is elevate everyday experiences. Now, right now, their core focus is working with sports teams. So if you have the Chiliz token, you're able to go ahead and use the Socius app to exchange that token for your local favorite sports team's native official token. And then once you have that, you get all these perks and benefits from being a token holder. You own a share of the influence of the team. You can even influence team decisions through voting and polls, earn lifetime rewards, get access to a bunch of cool stuff, such as VIP meet and greets, special events, unique collectibles, and discounts on merch. So from a high level, what Chiliz is doing is they're going into the marketplace to these sports teams who have been ravaged by COVID-19, right? They had all their games canceled, fans weren't in the stands, all that, and giving them a very, very unique way to engage with their fans across the globe, while also opening up new revenue streams, both for the league as well as for their protocol. So, pretty darn interesting. Let me see if I missed anything here. Built on Ethereum and the Binance Smart Chain. They do have an aspect that we didn't cover, which is the Socius locker room. So if you have, let's say I'm a Raiders fan, okay? I'm an Las Vegas Raiders fan. If they're not currently set up with Socius or Chiliz, I can go ahead and I can join the locker room, stake in essence my Chiliz token, saying, hey, Las Vegas Raiders, I think you should join in on this thing. And here's 10,000 other fans who have also staked their token feeling the exact same way. And then in return for kind of that social influence pressure, if they do end up signing, you get some bonuses on those tokens that you put in. So it's kind of an interesting little dynamic there. Let's see, what else do we have? Fan pick teams. Yeah, okay, so this is an example of what I was mentioning before about those team perks. So if you have the Las Vegas Raiders token, you can go ahead and teams have done this where they have the fans vote on what players play in the game, what strategy they use in the game, and it's just like a super interesting way to engage your fan base in a way that you would never be able to do without blockchain, without cryptocurrency. And so this article is talking about a game between Cypriot and Apollon FC. I'm not a big soccer guy. Don't hate me. If I pronounce those wrong, I'm sorry. Partnered with UFC. Yes, I saw that too. So let's talk. There's a locker room that we just talked about. Let's talk about some of the founding team. Now, the last few videos that we've done have kind of been community coins, meme coins, kind of scams. And in those, I am so focused on the founding team, doing deep research between their work history, track record, all of that. Chiliz is an official product. It's out there in the marketplace. They have tons and tons of partners. So I don't have any concerns at all when it comes to their leadership team. Alexandre, hopefully I didn't pronounce that wrong. I did pull up his LinkedIn. He has a long track record of, in essence, being an entrepreneur. He started in creating online poker rooms and ended up spinning off a couple of those, making some money, then eventually kind of jumped into this project here. I'm starting to add this into my review processes, but in their careers page, because the careers page could give you an indicator on where they're allocating their capital to go ahead and expand and grow. Okay. So after all my deep dives into Chiliz, the biggest market that was lacking in their protocol being up and running was USA. And interestingly enough, if you come in here, partner operations, which is in essence a salesperson, relationship manager, Miami, Florida, Madrid, Milan, London. So Miami is known to have a crypto-friendly stance and position. And I think it's very interesting that they're hiring some folks in the United States to begin nurturing those relationships. They also show they have a US-based office. That's why they're hiring an office manager for that. So again, it's interesting to see where these folks are kind of building their branches, the locations, deploying their capital, because their goal and intention is to build relationships and earn that money back multiple fold. I did go ahead and, of course, pull up their Twitter. Chiliz, again, is a legitimate project. They are very active in sharing a bunch of content. They have a Medium page that is also actively updated. Great content. I love to see that. Now, one thing that was interesting here, so I pulled up the first club, the very first club that signed up with them was in December 3rd, 2019. That's it right there. Penny. And then it took the bull market to go ahead and launch this thing up. And it was overbought and eventually crashed back down. But I guess why I thought that was interesting is as they continue to sign up partnerships, it doesn't have an immediate impact on the price like you would think it would. They signed over 100 different partners from 2019 to now, and it hasn't had huge pump on the price when that happens. And I think that story is going to change once they're able to break into the US market, which we'll get into some of the challenges and pullbacks on that. What else do we have? Oh, so here's an example. So they signed 40 new deals in 2021 alone. I watched an interview from the founder. He mentioned that they're looking at probably hiring another 50 to 75 people in 2022. And it definitely seems like expansion is the name of the game right now for these folks. Now, when we look at growth, so what's going to go ahead and take this thing and allow it to actually begin to blossom and hopefully earn us a nice little tidy profit? One of them is NFTs. So if you haven't followed the NFT space, it's quasi mainstream, I would say, with all major brands really looking at their social media strategy, their technology strategy, and how they may be able to incorporate it. And I think that speaks nowhere stronger than in sports leagues, right? If your favorite player scores a touchdown and you get to lock in that moment in time in an NFT and own it on the blockchain and be able to show it off, right, as a badge of honor, maybe flip it and sell it at some point. I think there's a huge market for that. NFTs were a core focus of theirs in 2021, and I didn't see a ton of momentum and progress that I could really sink my teeth into. But going into 2022, with some of their partnerships, like Chainlink. I think it's going to be another big focus of it. Now, circling back to this. So Patriots partner with Socius as NFL inches closer to crypto. The NFL has been super apprehensive about aligning with cryptocurrency. Interestingly enough, though, the New England Patriots and the Kraft Group, who owns them, went ahead and signed the first NFL deal for the blockchain fan token platform. And although at this stage, they're not launching it as a fan program, they're not launching it through the Socius app to give discounts and special experiences and merch and all that to fans, they are allowing Chiliz and Socius to go ahead and become the official sponsor of their indoor practice facility. Now, that kind of sounds like a letdown, but to me, in my experience in the business world, to me, that sounds like Chiliz is kind of greasing the wheels, right? You want access to the NFL, you want access to decision makers in the space. Hey, why don't you sponsor our indoor practice facility for $100,000 and maybe we can keep some conversations going? You know? So that was interesting. And another aspect to add on to that, if you guys followed the NFL last year, they were one of the last to adopt sports betting. But once they went ahead and they moved at a rapid pace to go ahead and integrate it into their stadiums, into pretty much any aspect that the NFL has in a fan-facing situation. And so I think that is indicative of what we can expect when we look at Chiliz and the NFL. The big hang up is that US-based sports teams probably don't want to have to get intermingled with US security law when they're just trying to give their fans a perk of being a token holder. And until regulation comes around that kind of smooths that all out and protects everybody from a legality standpoint, I think that's going to be a major holdback for Chiliz in the United States. Now, when we talk about partnerships, United States aside, they have been ridiculously busy. So this is football, soccer teams here. You see gaming teams, fighting, UFC. Old Bear, you mentioned that UFC's up there. Motorsport, basketball. American football, again, the only one showing up. But I think we're early on this one. If I had to put my foot down on it, I think we're very, very early on this project. Project stage. So I would say from a project stage standpoint, we're in the commercialization of Chiliz, of Socius. And what that means is we're not an early stage project that could fail tomorrow and it just disappears. We have a product, a service that we've built. We have a small amount of customers that are now using it. And now we're trying to launchpad that into the mainstream and really take this company to its fullest potential. So, from a buying opportunity standpoint, not financial advice, I'm just some dude who loves crypto, I think it's an interesting time to evaluate Chiliz. I think it's an interesting time to evaluate. Let's see, what else do we have? Tokenomics. So this is a AMA that Alex went ahead and conducted at the tail end of 2020. And he made some major changes to the tokenomics of the Chiliz token. So 20% of Chiliz net trading fees collected will be burnt by the Chiliz.net exchange. So that's where you have the Chiliz token. You want to go ahead and swap it for the Las Vegas Raiders token. 20% of those tokens are going to be burnt. In addition, 10% of Chiliz net collected by Chiliz.net during FTO to be burnt and locked for 3 months. So again, an additional burn mechanism added in. And then finally, 20% of Chiliz collectibles, NFTs, to be burnt as well. That's almost like Binance. I don't know if you guys follow Binance at all, but they have a process in place where they go ahead and take profits from their exchange. They buy back a certain amount of BNB and then they burn it, take it out of circulation. And as the circulating supply decreases, interest in the token either remains the same or increases, then the asset prices will also increase. So that's good. That's good for investors. I did go ahead and I jumped into the comment section on Etherscan. Again, this isn't a scammy token. We don't have to kind of dive into the wallets and all of that and see if someone's hiding 75% of it to sell it and crash it on everybody. But I thought this comment kind of stood out and was interesting. In essence, CR7 was asking about the burn process and the Asylum DAO, who I don't know if this is 100% true or not. If someone from the Chiliz community is on here or can share in a comment, I'll add it to the video. They said that the burning process is manual because it has to go from Ethereum to Polygon, which is a layer 2 scaling solution that they process all the transactions, get around those high ETH gas fees. It isn't automatic when they go and burn those tokens. So Alex or someone from his team has to go ahead and do it and also choose which wallet they are burnt to. So, he's partnering with 100 different sports brands, been in the crypto space for a while. I'm not saying that's scammy, but ideally that would be an automated process. Now, when we look at the ownership of the token, so it does show that 67% of the Chiliz tokens are currently held by whales, which is a fair amount. Over here, you can also see the low activity addresses compared to the high activity addresses. So the high activity are going to be the folks who are kind of day trading this thing in and out or paper handing. But it looks like the majority of folks are kind of holding the asset. Now, I had posted this in Patreon, and I think this is an interesting chart to look at. So high level, they're on a 90% or 90-day change of 80% down. Okay, so the token's prices went down 87% in the last 90 days. Said that weird the first time, but you know what I meant. And so what this report does is it shows us the large holders inflows. So people who are buying the token who own more than 1%, this tracks when that occurs. And I did see this little blip right here, if I can zoom in, whoop, where someone came in and scooped up some of these Chiliz tokens. That's interesting. I think that's interesting. From the short-term game, I think the Chiliz token is oversold. I think it has some upside to it. It's a real project with a lot of potential. I think you could probably do well. I think long-term, if you're holding this thing, let's say 5 years or so, I think you're going to be really pleased with your returns. What we got? Cool. Please review a coin. Okay, man. Yeah, I'll write that down. We have a community list of, I don't know, like 30 tokens. And I put them out on that poll every single day to review them. So just keep an eye out. I'll add it in there. What else do we have here? What else do we have? This is another cool chart. Okay, so this is showing the total addresses of the asset, okay? So this is kind of showing the early days. No one knew what it was. They started onboarding some stuff, onboarding some teams, and it began to kind of take off. And this bottom line here, this is kind of the price going up and down. The wallet, the active addresses, so folks who have the Chiliz token in their wallet and are actively using it, is on quite the upward trajectory. So the people who sold off from here and down here, they were likely using derivatives. So maybe they're using their Bitcoin as leverage or Ethereum as leverage, minting stable coins and going into these things, or they're paper handed. But to me, it seems like they have a ton of new partnerships that are still oncoming, a lot of potential with the US market, as well as South American market. and they're just chugging along. They're chugging along, adding addresses and making some momentum. What else we got here? Okay, governance. Dude, just trust me. Currently, the validation of blocks is in the hands of the Chiliz team. They don't have like a DAO in place to go ahead and direct kind of the future of the protocol. They do have the individual team tokens that are used for voting on things that are specific to the team, that token. But for the overall protocol, it is not currently set up with that type of governance model. And when we look at markets, where to buy, you can buy this thing anywhere. You can buy this thing on Coinbase, Binance, any of the other major exchanges. Now, when we look at news, I thought this was interesting. And this just happened. What is it? 3 days ago? So Alex had sent out this tweet. Binance had created a fan token for, and I'm probably going to jack this up here, but Argentinian soccer league or soccer team. And the interesting thing there is I believe Alex and Chiliz kind of have like a special clause that gives them priority or sole access to go ahead and sign those type of teams. And so if you go ahead, you bounce back to this thing, where'd it go? He replied to Binance with shocked eyes and the law emoji there. Pending lawsuit? Question mark. But it does open up a fair question. Could another project come along and eat the lunch of Chiliz? I think it's possible. The nice thing is they do have a ton of partnerships happening now, which is kind of as a proven track record. But in addition to that, all their relationships that they're forming as well has to be worth something. In addition to that news, we also had Arsenal FC was mandated to pull ads promoting its Socius fan token. So the UK Advertising Standards Authority ordered Arsenal FC to remove ads promoting Socius. ASA claimed that the ads trivialized investment in crypto assets, took advantage of consumers' inexperience and credulity, and were misleading because they failed to illustrate the risk of the investment. And I think this is just a really good snapshot as to the hindrances, right? The things that the Chiliz token is facing in order to really blossom. They also go through here and they mention, not only are folks inexperienced with cryptocurrency, and you have to kind of deal with all that stuff, getting them up to speed, but also there's tax liabilities around trading cryptocurrencies as well. And the folks who are kind of getting into these things likely aren't aware of that. They're just trying to get some cool fan stuff. Let's see what we got. Old Bear. I took profits when I doubled my money, but held some and bought more on the tumble. Dude, textbook. I love to hear that. That's awesome. I just did that too on it was a meme coin, but Shibnobi took out my profit. Now I'm just kind of playing with House's money, partially House's money. Okay, roadmap. What can we look forward to on the future? So on the Chiliz website, they go ahead and they mention that they're looking at expanding into entertainment, so movies as well as music. And so I think that's a really interesting pivot for them, right? So they kind of have this proven ecosystem, but can you take this type of approach and go after a major brand in entertainment space and really just copy and paste what you're doing? Give new utility to the token, help it appreciate in value. I thought that's pretty slick. And then when we go ahead, we pull up their roadmap and achievement list from last year. I'm going to swing this all the way back to January. One more. Oh, it did. So these are all the different partnerships and major impacts, improvements that they made in 2021. And these are all real. Like, you can go ahead, you can click on these things. Atlanta Hawks is a basketball team in the United States. And it goes ahead and pulls up articles talking about how they partnered. So the foundation for them to really spring and explode with a ton of new users is there. Sitting there, waiting. Let's see, what else we got? Tuin Kumar. The big teams like Barca, Juve, and Arsenal are huge. Argentina elite total reach will be pretty much the same as one of these three teams. Thank you. Just want to say I love your stuff. You might just be the only honest, genuine, non-shilling crypto guy providing valuable, in-depth analysis. I just hope you never sell out. Dude, thank you so much. That's so kind. Yeah, at this point, I haven't taken any sponsorships to go ahead and kind of cover a project on the channel. Really, I'm just running everything through Patreon as well as YouTube ads. So let's see, Tuan Kumar. Shenja. Yeah, I know. Shinobi turned out to be a great call. Thanks. House money only now as well. Hey, man, there you go. There you go. Okay, so let's wrap this beautiful thing up. I think the pros of investing in Chiliz right now. I think it's oversold. I think people panicked. It crashed. All the folks that were using derivatives to go ahead and go long on it, they got burnt. They got taken out. I think it's oversold. So from a value standpoint, down 90%, real project, real partnerships, a lot of potential. I think there's some opportunity. I think in addition to that, what they provide to the marketplace is really tangible. So a sport team that wants to create a new income stream to make money off of kind of the trading of these assets, engage their fans in a new and unique way that seems really modern and kind of cutting edge. I think that makes total sense. The token burns. So I don't have, and I couldn't find it. If someone else has it, let me know in the video. I'll pin it down below so someone else can see it. But the unlock schedule for their supply of tokens, I read on Reddit that supposedly at the end of this year, the entire max supply of Chiliz is going to be in the market. So that has acted as a downward pressure on the price, right? Because if you're gaining a little bit, but then they go ahead and they unlock 1 million tokens or whatever, now the price goes down. But supposedly that's supposed to be wrapped up at the end of this year. Someone can confirm, that'd be great. They also have those burn mechanisms. So as people are using the Chiliz token, as they're onboarding teams, as they're selling NFTs and other kind of collectibles, they're going to be burning this token up, locking it away, reducing the available supply. I think cons. I think one is the opportunity cost. Okay, opportunity cost of your money. Could you find another project that can make you more returns faster than Chiliz? Because the thing holding Chiliz back is really, at least for the US, the major market is going to be regulation. And I think we have years and years of that ahead of us to really kind of get it all sorted out. So in that time, could you find something else that can make you more money than Chiliz would? I think that's something to consider. I think, and again, the sports teams don't want to intermingle with US securities law. And then lastly, can a league or a team or a rival blockchain come up and compete with them and eat their lunch? What's to stop the NFL from creating their own blockchain? Having their own group run that. And then they kind of have sole control over everything and all the back-end processes and the profits. So I think that's something interesting to watch too. So I think overall, my bad, didn't mean to hit the mic. I think overall, I think it's a great long-term hold. If you can buy it, you can hold it for 5 years, not worry about it, take profits along the way, play with house money. I think this is a great pick, not financial advice, of course. And I think in addition to that, just kind of bigger picture, I think we should all really want Chiliz to succeed because they're right smack dab in engaging non-crypto users with a cryptocurrency use case